Welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel once a week. It chooses the horror film and they discuss it. Today we're talking about 1999's Idle Hands, which was directed by Rodman Flender. I'm your co-host Alec.
And I'm Eric.
And we are talking a Halloween movie in the middle of December. So good for us.
Well, this movie came out in April, so kind of fits the narrative.
Yeah, there was a reason for that.
Reshoots, yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in 98, Halloween. And I feel like that really fucked this movie over.
That and Columbine happened like 10 days before this movie came out, and there was like a big violence in movies and stuff is messing up the youth.
Oh, yeah.
I read all about this, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, actually, Joseph Lieberman from Connecticut actually mentioned this title by hand. I mean, wow.
By hand?
He mentioned this title by name. He was just like, there's movies coming out like Idle Hands, which makes violence into comedy, and this is ridiculous.
Oh, if only we could send Joe Lieberman to today. It's like, dude, it's like that's tip of the iceberg is Idle Hands.
Yeah, this movie's, yeah. I saw this movie probably when I was like 13 on like Comedy Central.
I have memories of it. I don't really remember watching it, but yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I don't think I've ever seen the unedited version. Like I've only seen it, yeah, just like the on TV at like 4 p.m. And I was like, oh, this is funny. Oh my God, Seth Green's in this. And like,
Classic stoner comedy.
Dude, I forgot how big of a stoner comedy this is. This
is like almost better, like bigger than Days That Get Views and like Half Baked. Like this is a stoner movie through and through.
I mean, those movies are better, but yeah, this is
you got the guy's head cut off and he's throwing him cheesy poofs or cheese balls in his mouth, and it's like, yeah, it's insane.
No, they said cheesy poofs. I'm pretty sure that was a South Park reference.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because this came out in 99, and, this is like a couple months before American Pie, and American Pie, like, I think just took over this space. And also, like, if you're not really into, like, horror at all, or, this isn't really going to be your cup of tea if you're into teen comedies. But it's pretty stupid, but it's actually good for what it is,
I gotta say, like, yeah, it's good. I would say I like this movie a lot more if Jessica Alba was 18. I just feel weird that she was 17 filming this, and it's like, couldn't you found an 18-year-old like to do these underwear scenes? I don't know. It was a little creepy, and like being 34 and being like, oh, I love Idle Hands. It's like, no, that's weird. Like
her acting though was
so bad,
atrocious. Like, holy shit, dude. It's like unbelievably bad.
She didn't want to be there. She's coming hot off of Alex Mack, like Nickelodeon star. She's clearly attractive as she's a sex icon to later. What?
She's Jessica Mack?
No, she's like her friend in Alex Mack.
Oh.
Like, I think that was her first thing she got started with. I was actually on set with Jessica Alba. She was at ESPN doing like her Honest brand. She's a billionaire. She's very rich, and she owns or is the CEO or whatever of the Honest brand, which does like clean energy, organic baby diapers and stuff. And she was promoting these diapers that have like MLB icons on them or logos on them, like Boston Red Sox diapers for your baby. And she was there, and my friend went up to her. I was like, thank you so much for coming in. And she just like walked past her. Like Jessica Alba, like, I was like, you think Jessica Alba's gonna waste her time on this earth with you? Her breath on you? No. It was the biggest ignore ever. Like she was like, thank you for coming in. And she just literally just walked past her. I was like, damn.
Like, I don't want to shit on her too much, but like, she's not a good actress. So like she had to pivot into something for the later half of her life, Like, I'm not trying to be a dick.
She's doing just fine.
She is, but I don't think she is a good enough actress to be like, oh yeah, like is she still acting? Like, is she?
She was I'm trying to think movies she was in. Like Into the Blue was like a huge one.
Sin City. I remember I liked her. She was pretty good in that.
Wasn't she in it with a Dane Cook movie or something? It was like,
yeah, like Employee of the Month.
That I think.
No,
like she's like,
no, wait, she's not in. That's
is that her.
Oh, Good Luck Chuck. That was it.
Yeah, and I feel like that movie was like, yep, I'm done.
She's still in stuff, but it's not anything crazy. Anyways, we spent too much time on Jessica Alba.
Wait, is this a Jessica Alba podcast?
No. Yeah. All right. So Anyways, another guy that is good and what the hell happened to him is Devon Sawa. Like 90s icon. And then he kind of just after was a Final Destination. He was in another movie with Jason Segel, which was really funny. Fuck, what was that movie called? It was like a college movie.
Oh, I know exactly the movie with Cameron Diaz is in it for a minute, right? What movie is
Um
that? It's like Slackers or something. What is it?
Slackers, I think
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah. And then he was in this movie that we covered a long time ago called Black Friday, and it was kind of good, but he hasn't really been in much either.
Bro, we also covered him in Casper. Remember Casper?
Yeah, but that was before this. So like,
Totally.
after I don't know, it's just kind of sad. Like he was one of those 90s icon guys that just kind of like fell away into obscurity.
I mean, he's not as big as Seth Green, but dude, he's in Chucky, and that's like a huge show. Or I think it's ending now, but
Yeah.
like he's still like very well known. I think he did fine.
Dude, Seth Green, right after this, he just goes right into Family Guy.
Buffy,
And
Austin Powers, like boom, 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 boom.
Austin Powers was the same year as this. The first one was 2 years before this, but then this same year he did Spy Who Shagged Me, and then immediately Family Guy, and then Robot Chicken started right after this. Like this dude,
Buffy, like dude, he dominated the '90s more than we give him credit for, and he's in a ton of movies.
oh, yeah, Stand By Me, It, right? Or no, he's in It. He's in It, right? Fuck, I'm like,
I don't know, but dude, are you okay?
I've been awake for 15 minutes. I like don't know where I am yet.
I'm like, what the? What, he was in Stand By Me?
No, what was he? He was in the 90s. He was in It, right? He's like
What are you talking about? No, he wasn't. Was he?
he's in the 90s It movie.
No way. All right, we're gonna have to look that up. Keep going.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
He was. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay, yeah,
You're right.
that and Stand By Me were like meshing together in my mind. But yes, okay.
Without a paddle. Scooby Doo. Can't forget he was in Scooby Doo.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Italian Job. Classic.
Yeah, so this movie had a bunch of people before they became big. I mean, Vivica A. Fox is in it. It's fun. It's stupid. There's not really much of a plot. It doesn't really make sense. Like, it's basically a stoner. It starts off like every stoner movie. Like, he wakes up, he's just like eating Cheetos and listening to music. And then he's like, oh, I'm out of weed. I'll go get some more weed. And he goes and meets his stoner friends. And
Yeah, and meanwhile, his parents were just murdered, but he doesn't realize that he was the one who murdered them because his hand is possessed, because there's like some demon pentagram circle that's around the area that he lives, and like there's some woman far away that's figured it out by drawing on him. It was like it's a weird movie. It's not that good. It's like there's no like where's the burial ground? Like Pet Cemetery, you know?
yeah, there's nothing that's like, why is this happening? It's just happening. And it's so funny because yeah, Vivica A. Fox is going from place to place looking for possessed hands or whatever. Like she know her family's been doing it for years, druids and stuff like that. But I thought it's so funny. Her name is La Cure, so it's like she's the cure.
Oh, I thought you were like saying like La Croix, like that drink.
No, her name is La Cure, like it. She's the cure, and I'm like, this
All
is
right, this was definitely stoners writing this. Like
yeah, yeah. It's really yeah. So yeah, so she's like looking for Devon Sawa now, but she doesn't know who he is or there's no indication or whatever. So it's Devon Sawa and his two stoner friends, which are Seth Green and then this guy named Penub, and he's from the Daredevil movies. I mean the Daredevil TV series. He's that foggy guy. Yeah, so it's those three, and Devon Sawa kills his parents. He doesn't know, so his parents are dead for like 4 days. He's like, I haven't seen my parents in a while. So it's I don't know, it's stupid.
yeah, and like his cat like is eating an eyeball and he freaks out and he's like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and the knife's all bloody and he finally realizes like, oh, something happened. And then he finds his parents' bodies and then his hand starts acting up and then his hand kills his friends, which is like the next big thing that happened.
Yeah, and right before all of that, like, there's this very forced little subplot with him and Jessica Alba. Like, that's his neighbor, and he's just like, I'm so obsessed with her. And they're like, dude, you gotta go talk to her. And it's just very,
Very cringe, like so cringe.
yeah. So he does go up to her. He finds her book. She's a musician or something. They just like shoehorn that in there. He finds her lyric book and goes to give it to her, but he awkwardly, he's like, I can't handle this, and like runs away. Yeah, so they're all in high school, apparently. I thought they were going to be like, 22 or whatever, but they're all in high school. And he's just horrible student. He just never goes to class or whatever. He's just like a huge stoner. And his parents, like, come on. He smokes weed in the living room, but he just lights some incense. Like, come on, dude, what? Like, your parents are going to know. Like,
Or how about when he ran out of weed? He thought, what did he use?
oh my God.
Paprika and oregano? Like actually,
Nutmeg and oregano. Yeah.
that doesn't do anything.
That's like an urban legend. I've heard people say that too. They're like, dude, if you smoke enough of this, like I've heard other people say that. I've never tried that though.
I've heard if you get too high, you can chew on ground pepper and it brings you out of high.
I'm sure that's not real.
No way is that real. In
Yeah.
what way is that real? Like, there's no.
No. Yeah. So I mean, he smokes because he runs out of weed, so he smokes oregano and nutmeg, and he also rolls it in like a book's paper, like which has ink all over it and everything. I'm just like, dude, this guy's gonna die.
That's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So he thinks smoking that is what's causing him to hallucinate and like, see his dead parents and all this stuff. So his friends come over and they're just like chilling with him. And also, before we even get into the hand possession murder stuff, this movie has some good music and it's kind of throughout.
Yo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they nail the 90s good music. They had like Sublime, The Offspring, they had Rob Zombie for a little while.
Dracula, yeah. And then they had the Offsprings at the end.
Yeah, they're in it, dude. I thought that was so funny when
Tom DeLonge's in this from Blink-182. He's like one of the burger guys at the restaurant. Did you recognize him?
yeah, he's like you're on break. He's like sweet, and he like walks away.
Yeah, I know. That's like he was in American Pie too. We just talked about that. That's funny.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know they're from San Diego and this movie was all filmed. Actually, it was all filmed in LA, so never mind. But yeah, it's crazy. Jessica Alba's house, I was like, that's gotta be Pasadena. And I looked it up and it was Pasadena. And that's where Halloween was filmed. And that area, man, yeah, it's so expensive out here, but it's such like a nice little suburb of LA. And I think they did a really good job of like capturing that. It didn't feel like it was anywhere near like LA, did it when you were watching it?
I thought it was a suburb, especially like how he like walked out of his house and like went to Jessica Alba's house. Like it didn't feel like LA.
It's so close to LA. Pasadena, it's the next little town over. It's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, it all takes place there. So the possession happens. He kills his two friends. So Devon Sawa murders Seth Green and Panub.
Cuts Panub's head off and throws a bottle in Seth Green's head.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be doing this. He's actively like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I don't know what I'm doing."
And I'll give Devon Sawa credit. Like I mean, to act like your hand is possessed is not an easy acting thing to do. And I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, no, he was good.
Like to do that is like it's not easy.
No, I mean it's like vaudevillian acting, but they also had I think the guy from the Addams Family movies played the actual hand. The guy who played it or Thing.
Thing.
Yeah. The guy that played Thing from the Addams Family movies, that actor came back and did the hands. And I mean, yeah, like for what this is, like it's mostly practical effects, and even the digital effects kind of look good. Like when he cuts off the guy's head or whatever, Panub's head, and it rolls down the stairs, and it's like clearly CGI, but it's that okay CGI. You know what I mean?
90s. So it's 90s like low enough budget where we have a budget, but it's low.
But it like still looks okay, Like I totally was like, this is fine. It didn't look like Star Wars CGI. Like it looked believable still.
Like when his head was on the couch or the cushion or whatever, it was like that's pretty cool. And it was sideways too.
Yeah.
Like you think it'd be way easier to just like have him sitting up.
Well, yeah, I mean they used his head, they used the real head, they used the CGI head, and then they also used like the Terminator robot head when it was like on its side. I was like, they did a good job with the fake head or whatever. And then they got sick of it and they just shoved it back onto him. I was like, okay, cool, I like this.
Like took like what did they use, a fork and it's like here you go. Like
yeah, I don't know, but the overall theme of the movie is Vivica A. Fox is coming to this town. I think it's called Barron or something, California, and they're coming to find Devon Sawa. And then Devon Sawa is trying to get with Jessica Alba, and that's kind of it. Like, it doesn't seem like he's trying to solve anything at first. Like, he's just like, all right, well, my friends are dead. Oh, and he buries them, and they come back to life. So, like, something is going on in this town. It's not just the hands possessed. There's zombies now, like, but yeah, there's this party going on, too. It's the Halloween party at the school, and that's going on right now. And, like, they're like, we're not going to go, like, whatever. But then they go. And Devon Sawa kills the police. When they come, he kills his friends.
yeah, that was nuts.
He's killed his parents. So after he's killed like so many people, he's like, you know what? I'm going to cut my hand off. So he cuts his hand off. The hand escapes. And now he's just running around like a bloody stump.
But now he has a great Halloween costume for the party.
Him and his zombie friends. I mean, Seth Green has a bottle in his head.
That works, I guess. I think that's a cool, clever thing to do. It's like no one's going to question this guy with a bottle sticking out of his head, I guess.
It's just doesn't make sense because I'm like, why are they back from the dead? And also they're invincible now. So I'm like, okay, like, I mean, If you wanted to do that forever, like maybe just eat like a cyanide tablet and then you just have like a perfect body, but you're invincible, right?
I guess, yeah. And the whole time I'm watching this, I'm thinking, why isn't the hand killing Jessica Alba? It kind of is, right? It's going to attack. Like he tries to like tie it up to the bed, and she's like, "Oh wow, you're kinky." When he goes to visit her.
At the end it tries to kill her, but yeah, when they're on their little like shitty date or whatever, yeah, it's not. It's like sexually aggressive. Like it's not. It like squeezes her butt, and she's like, "Ooh, I didn't think you had that much like macho-ness in you to do something like that." And I'm like, that's like sexual assault. Like he doesn't know you. He just came into your house and squeezing your ass. Like I don't know. Yeah, her character was very poorly written and just like I don't know, like
I didn't understand half of the like yeah, I didn't get it.
it was like a teenage boy wrote it. It was just kind of like, ooh, and then like they walk in and he squeezes her butt, and then like she
She
likes
likes
it.
it. Yeah.
It was very like like a young boy wrote this. Yeah, so then they get to the dance, and oh, before all the dance stuff though, there is this one guy. He's like trapped in 1980.
The guy in the truck. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
he's wearing like a Slayer shirt or something,
no,
or
it's a
Quiet
Quiet
Riot.
Riot.
Yeah, Quiet Riot.
And he's blasting Motley Crue, Shout with the Devil. And it's like, I kind of wish they said when they got into his truck later and that song started playing, like, man, this guy only plays this song because that song played like four
Yeah.
times.
I wish they were like, he's a super duper duper senior. He's been in like school for like another like 7 years or something.
Well, I looked up the actor. He was like 32 when they filmed this movie.
I know they could have made him like he's still in high school and he's like 30. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, so he's this like weird guy that lives across the street. I don't really know how he fits into this other than he tells Vivica A. Fox about, his friend.
Well, just because he's into metal and like the devil and stuff, that
Yeah.
when Sawa like needed help, he went to him because he's like the only guy who might know like what's going on. So that's what he did. It makes no sense.
That's so dumb. They're like, hey, the guy that likes metal music might know about possessions. Like,
I mean, in the 90s, I guess that could why because like yeah, metal was associated with that shit. But
I don't know. I'd be like, let's go to like the occult store or something like that, or like the guy that's into like Ouija boards, not the guy that likes Motley Crue. But yeah,
whoa.
yeah. But the whole idea of the movie is like the title is Idle Hands, and like I've always heard that saying like, but I always thought it was idle time is the devil's playground. I didn't know it was idle hands, but
Yeah. I kept saying like in my head, like Hungry Eyes, the song. I kept going, idle hands.
yeah. Well, I was thinking the whole time this would have been a great like updated version of Reefer Madness. Because like Reefer Madness is like you smoke weed and then you like shoot yourself and you jump out of windows and murder your friends. And it was like a propaganda film from the 30s. This would have been funny if it's like if you smoke weed, your hand becomes possessed and you kill your family and then kill your friends. And then like
Yeah, that would have been a cool little thing they did at the end of it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, because there's no explanation for why this happens other than he's a lazy stoner. That's really
Yeah.
why this happens to him. He's a lazy stoner, and the devil possesses people that are lazy stoners.
Yeah. So we're on the way to the dance. Where are we now?
Yeah, they're at the dance now, I feel like, and
Green Day's playing, which was
no,
not Green Day. What did I say?
Offspring.
Offspring. What did I say? Green Day. I just watched something with Green Day. Sorry.
Yeah, you saw American Idiot on Broadway last weekend, right?
Yeah, of course.
You took your daughter, like you guys had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's it's like it's a fucking good concert, dude. Like that looks like that looks like a Hocus Pocus-esque.
What was he playing? He was playing the Ramones. We want to be sedated.
Yeah, which I'm like, no, you have Offspring, use them.
Why wouldn't they do an Offspring song? Were they not that big yet?
No, they were in 99. Dude, they were in Crazy Taxi this year. Like they were
Yeah.
huge in 99. But yeah, they had so many good songs they could have chosen. They're like, let's get them to cover the Ramones. I'm like, no. I mean, I like the Ramones.
Or
Like,
if they did a Halloween song, I would have liked that better than the Ramones. But I guess it's like going with like the Quiet Riot, Ramone. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm trying to catch this vibe. It's a stoner comedy, so you got to keep it rolling.
I guess, yeah. But anyway, so they're playing at the band. There's all the friends, or Seth Green and Penub show up at the costume party, or Jesus, the party, and everybody's like, oh, these are really good costumes. And this one girl's like, I'm attracted to you now because your costume's so good. Yeah, so they start making out. And this scene, I was like, ooh, I think Seth Green's character is gay for Penub. And he's jealous because when they were making out, he's like, you're disgusting. And he was like trying to like ruin it for Penub. And I was like, wonder if there's a little like Timon and Pumbaa action going on here.
Thought so. I caught some of that too. Seth Green was like really funny in this too.
Oh my God. Okay, we didn't say this is my favorite line in the whole movie is the hand is in the microwave. Devon Sawa leaves it in there. The friends
Oh,
go
I
to
know exactly. This is the best. Yep. Keep going.
make burritos and the hand gets out and Devon Sawa runs over to the thing. He's like he opens it. He's like, "No!" And he's like, "Dude, there's only two." Like sort of thing about the burritos. He's like Seth Green's like, "There's only two." Like he thought he was upset because there weren't enough burritos for everybody, but he's screaming about the hand being gone. I died at Seth
I
Green.
actually liked a line like 2 seconds before that because the hand just blew up in the microwave. It's blood
Yeah.
everywhere over the microwave. They want to eat food, and he's like, "Do we think we should clean the microwave first before our dead bodies eat these nasty burritos?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, next we should also clean the whole fucking house." Like I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I remember that line from when I was a kid because I remember they beeped it out on Comedy Central. And I was like, no, I like swears. I want to hear the swear.
Yeah, what? No, freedom, censorship. No.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, Seth Green, I think he steals the show in this movie. So then at the party, it turns into just like a massacre.
Yeah, well, you just mentioned Hocus Pocus, which is like similar to this scene. How Max goes on stage and warns everyone about the Sanderson sisters. He does the same thing. So there's a hand out there, it's killing people. And they all like start throwing garbage at him and booing him. And it's literally the exact scene.
Yeah, and Hocus Pocus, I feel like I mean, they're possessed, so they wouldn't believe him, but they're like, hey, you guys know those witches that are in this town that you all know about? They're back. That sounds more believable than, hey guys, like my hand is possessed and it's killing people. They're like, who? That's a stoner?
It'd be funny if he was like actually like dripping blood too on the stage. It's like, are you okay, man? Like,
Like, no, it's a hand.
it's like, all right, someone take him to the doctor.
There's also another kind of random scene at the school where the principal's in his office, and I kind of thought this was funny too. He's like getting super mad on the phone. He's like, "No, you need to check my credit card again." He's like freaking
Oh yeah,
out.
he was like calling some hotline for like
It was a sex talk hotline.
yeah.
But he was so mad that his credit card is getting declined, and we don't know what this is for. And then you find out it's for the sex line, and I was like, it's pretty fun. That acting was pretty good. Like he was so frustrated about his card getting declined. Anyways, so yeah, I really like that. And the hand kills him. And the hand does something really cool in one scene in the school where he like sticks his finger into each of the pencil sharpeners.
I love that. It's cheesy, but it was like, oh, I think that's cool because it sharpens the bone.
Yeah, so it's like dangerous now. It's like got edges and stuff. And so the school's just a madhouse, people running around. You've got the girls, they go into this like shaft or an air conditioning shaft, and there's this whole scene with a spinning fan, and they have to use her shoe.
Love that too. Love that too. They use her shoe. Jessica Alba gets down, and the other girl's like a little hesitant. And then the second she gets down, she's like getting strangled with a rope or hung by a rope by the hand. And then all of a sudden he turns the fan back on, and she just goes right up and just explodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that was just like padding the runtime. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why do we need this whole like solving this thing? Like,
It's like that was my best friend. Okay, let's move on. Like,
yeah. So the girl who has a crush on Panub, she gets killed in the fan. Jessica Alba then she just like after surviving that walks into a room and the hand just like whips a book at her head and she's just like, ow. And like
that was a vase or
or
something.
whatever. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was like just a vase gets whipped at her head.
Glass got hit on her head and it broke.
That seemed like such a last minute, like, I don't just like whip something at her head. I don't know. So Jessica Alba's knocked out. Then she wakes up tied to a car.
Yeah, we're like in an auto body shop now or something, right?
That school has like a full auto body shop in it with like, a conveyor belt and cars are on it. It's insane. Yeah, so Jessica Alba's on the truck and it's slowly being lifted to the ceiling and he's going to crush her. The hand is going to crush her. So Devon Sawa and the two friends go in there and they're trying to like, stop the hand from moving the conveyor belt. For some reason, the hand's a puppet now. It's like got a weird puppet on it with a smiley face. And they're holding the hand. For some reason, all three of them can't stop this hand. So they find this like this felt like something out of Mission Impossible, but they find this huge triple like bong thing or whatever.
They call it like Mighty Joe Bong or something.
Mighty Joe Bong, yeah. So they find it's like made out of like exhaust pipes.
It looks like an engine of some kind. Or exhaust pipes, yeah.
Yeah, they're like welded together. So then they smoke weed, they get strong. Actually, this was another funny line by Panub when he's like, I needs me spinach. He brings over the weed for him to smoke. I was like, that's pretty funny. Yeah, so then they smoke the weed, they're able to break, or oh no, then they get the weed stoned. I mean, sorry, the hand stoned, and they blow smoke on it, and the hand gets all high and drops off, and then they're able to save Jessica Alba.
Yeah, because what's her name shows up with the thing and like throws a spiritual knife at the hand and kills the hand.
Right, we kind of brushed over that a bit. Yeah, Vivica A. Fox, she tracks him down. She meets up with the Quiet Riot Motley Crue guy, and that scene was pretty funny too.
Yeah, they're at like a bowling alley or something. And he's like, "Oh yeah, there's someone talking about his hand being possessed." It's like, and she's like, "That's exactly what I'm looking for." It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Such a stoner comedy moment, like really. Yeah, so then Vivica A. Fox comes, the hand is stoned, she whips the knife at the hand and ends up killing it, I guess. It like explodes and Seth Green is even like, that was it? And then it's over.
no, like, that's what he says, right? He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that was like really not eventful."
Yeah. So then the hand like evaporates. That's really it. And then Vivica A. Fox, like, we have to go have ritualistic sex now. So they just leave and presumably go to do that. Jessica Alba's saved, and then the two friends, Penub and Seth Green, are just like, well, we got to go to heaven now.
Yeah, there's like the pearly gates open up.
Yeah, but then the conveyor belt, I can't remember how, but it gets set off again and it crushes Seth Green. I mean, not Seth
Devon
Green.
Sawa.
Yeah, Devon Sawa. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, are you joining us?"
Yeah. Yeah. So that didn't happen. I mean, he does get crushed, but then he wakes up in the
Like
hospital.
a full body cast, which is
Yeah.
again total stoner comedy, and he's getting fed like snack pack pudding by Jessica Alba.
Yeah, it looked like Clockwork Orange when he's like getting fed in the bed.
Yeah, no, it did.
Then the friends come back and they're just like, "Oh, like we're your guardian angels, man." And he's just like, "Cool." And then they write on the ceiling, like from the first scene, where it's just like, "We're under the bed."
Which they wouldn't have known about, it seems like, but whatever.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, they wouldn't. So then they walk away and it's like a big joke, and Devon Sawa screaming.
And they have these like little shitty angel wings on. It's like, and that's when the bad CGI was happening, but it was good enough.
Yeah, apparently there was an original shoot, and it was like the most expensive shoot in the entire movie. And it was all about a pool. They went to the pool, and it turns into this portal to hell, and they get sucked down there and turned, I guess, more into like a horror movie. And apparently the test audience didn't like it. So they went back and refilmed it, which sucks because that's the most expensive scene in the movie. But they went back and reshot it, and this is the ending we got. And it also prolonged the release date. So I don't know. I wonder if we should have stuck with the original one. This might have been a bigger movie. If it came out of Halloween '98, this could have done well. But now it's a cult classic.
Yeah, it's a cult classic for sure. And yeah, the whole coming out 6 months after Halloween is just bizarre. I would have just rather let's just wait another 6 months. Like, why didn't they?
I don't know, man.
I just fine tune it.
Yeah, yeah, they were pretty dumb. And apparently there's a remake coming out, which is like, don't do this. Like, just don't do. You will never be. The only reason this movie
Yeah,
is remotely okay is because of how 90s it is. Like the
I saw
90s
that.
music. Yeah, like if you bring this movie into today, dude, people have cell phones now, the internet. Like it ruins it.
That's what it would be. It would be more of a new take with cell phones and stuff. But yeah, there was a variety article that came out with Finn Wolfhard, Billy Brick to reteam with producer Jason Reitman from Ghostbusters for Idle Hands remake at Sony.
Don't do this.
I'm gonna say this. It's never gonna happen. I watch it if it happens, but I just don't see this happening. And here's why. Can I go through the stats with you?
Yeah.
So this movie released April 30th, 1999, exactly 6 months after Halloween. It's an hour and 32 minutes long. Its budget was 25 million. Can you guess how much it made, Alec?
10.
Four.
Oh my God.
So it lost about 20 million of their budget in the box office. Critics score is 18%. And the audience is 58.
Yeah.
It's just like yeah, this movie came out in the 90s. It's a 90s stoner comedy. No one likes it. Also came out, like we mentioned, Columbine around the time of that. So I think that had a lot to do with it. People were just not in the mood to go to the movies and watch violence, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, that was a huge media mayhem, like at the time too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
If I was a studio producer or like a studio head, I'd be like, okay, what movie did we lose money on which had bad ratings in the 90s that we can somehow remake because it's gained a bit of cultural relevance over the last 20 years? Oh, how about Idle Hands? Like, This movie, I don't know. Like I just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It was a bomb back then. It gained a little bit of steam over the years, but just like it's not gonna work. I don't know.
There's better movies to do remakes of that made money.
Just don't remake anything anymore.
Or just continue it on as a sequel or something. But like, look at the Lost Boys. Like, I'd much rather do a Lost Boys re-envision
Ugh.
than an Idle Hand. I'm just saying, as someone who was like, oh, people will go see it just because it has the title The Lost Boys, and I want to make money. That's all I'm saying.
They should just stop.
Well, just be original. There's some original movies out there and shows, but just be original.
Or make a movie like this and don't call it Idle Hands. Just call it something else. And like
Yeah.
it's a nod to this kind of movie. But if you just say it's Idle Hands, all people are going to do is compare it to this. It's never going to capture the same magic. It's just not going to work. There's not that same sense of cultural relevance. Like, dude, this movie constantly was like, haven't you seen Baywatch? Haven't you seen ER? Like, they were mentioning very culturally relevant shows at the time, where today we don't have that collective sense of everybody's watching something. Everybody would understand that
Yep.
reference. So it's just not going to work. The music, the same thing. The music that everybody listens to nowadays is so disjointed compared to what it was in 99. Like, people were still watching MTV. People were listening to the same kinds of music. They made fun of Henson and Jewel in this movie, and people would understand those references. I don't think it's going to work. It's not going to work.
Like, oh, it sounds like Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, oh, all right. Like,
It's just not going to, there's too much stuff. People are too disjointed.
I'll watch it if they do Idle Hands and I hear, hey, they have a scene with Tom DeLonge at the same burger joint and he's 50 years old, and I'm in. Like, I'm in.
But what if you have to subscribe to Sony Plus, the new streaming site?
No, what? No, no more, no more. If I'll sign up for the free week and then say like, oh, unfortunately, like it's too expensive for me after 5 days.
All right. Decent movie. If you like 90s comedies, if you know, like horror comedies, it's not too bad. It's stupid, but it's not too bad. It's got Fred Willard in it. I love that guy. He's the dad in the beginning.
R.I.P. Yeah, the late great.
Yeah. Anyways, that's really all I've got about this movie. What about you?
I mean, that's it, man. It's just a good movie to cover. Like, why not? You got to cover this movie.
Yeah. And now we've only got a couple movies left on the wheel, and I believe they're all holiday themed. So why don't we spin the wheel?
Spinning. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Ooh boy.
What's this movie?
It's from the 80s. It's like this Santa Claus killer movie. It caused a huge stir, so it'll be fun to talk about. And I think we have Andy Danish coming on for that.
Andy.
Yeah, so we got that, and a couple more Christmas movies after that, and a New Year's movie, and maybe even another bonus episode. We'll see. But yeah, everybody, thank you very much for listening into our discussion on Idle Hands, and we'll see you next week with Silent Night, Deadly Night.